Nerderotic.com.
When I first heard there was going to be a Joker film and it was going to involve Martin Scorsese, I was very excited. Then I heard they were going to cast Joaquin Phoenix, and Scorsese wasn't really involved anymore, but then they got Todd Phillips, and I was still excited. Then I heard it was going to be an origin story with Alec Baldwin playing an Orange Man version of Thomas Wayne, and it was 2019, so I thought it'd be the Woker. Then my excitement went down the toilet. Then I saw The Joker this evening, and it's just simply the best movie I've seen all year. Now, before I get started, if you like what I do here, please consider subscribing to the channel. YouTube has recently made a change to the algorithm, which greatly benefits the major corporations and doesn't really benefit the independent channels. So if you could like and share the video as much as possible, it helps us keep the traction that we have lost when the video gets past 24 hours. I would greatly appreciate it, and your favorite YouTuber would greatly appreciate it. Now, does this film need to exist? After seeing it, absolutely. Does there need to be a Joker origin? No. Does there need to be a definitive Joker origin? No. But if you keep it confusing, I'm okay with that. If you keep it in an alternate universe, I'm okay with that. I'm a pretty hardcore comic book fan, and I can be a bit of a fundamentalist when it comes to things like the Joker, Batman, and Spider-Man. But in this case, I am happy to have been completely wrong with my speculation about this movie. Now, I won't get into spoilers in the first part of the video. I will get into some towards the end. I will give you fair warning so you can dip out, watch the movie, and then watch the rest of the movie later. Now, Joaquin Phoenix, this is another tour de force. Now, he had one already in Walk the Line, one of my favorite all-time films, and he's done it again. So this dude is an absolute legend. Also, I have to report, my sleeper incel did not wake up, unfortunately, for the Access Media during this film. It's very fortunate for Mrs. Nerdrotic I did not turn into an incel. So she's happy and I'm happy. Now, I didn't want to commit violence after this film, but I do want to tell somebody to go watch it because I was very entertained, and we're not getting that much entertainment out of Hollywood these days. So when it's good, I want to praise it as equally as much as I criticize them. Are there elements? Is there a little piece of 2019 wokeness? There is, and I'll get into that with my 1 or 2 nitpicks in the spoiler section. But overall, I give the movie an 8 out of 10. I usually don't do scores. I was just really entertained, and I would have to say this is probably the definitive film version of the Joker origin. There should never be one in the comics, but as far as some groundwork being laid for film, this was it. Now, is this the best version of the Joker? I don't know. A lot of people, including myself, get trapped in the prisoner of the moment. I still think Heath Ledger was the best. I have to see this movie a couple more times, and I'm definitely going to do that. There was tons of Easter eggs, and I didn't catch them all. But Joaquin Phoenix absolutely makes this film, and he does it without a lot of dialogue, with actual acting. Joaquin Phoenix acts his ass off in this movie, and I don't know if he's a method actor or not, but it certainly looks that way because he acts with every inch of his body. The emotion just pours out of the screen. And you also have to give a lot of respect to Todd Phillips, who has a comedy background, which is the hardest thing to produce, and that's why he was the perfect guy for this. And even though it might be a repurposed script, I don't care because it has turned into the perfect film Joker origin. Now, many will be out there saying that this is a groundbreaking reinvention of the comic book film. I think it's just film back to basics, film 101, not reinventing the wheel, finding the wheel and using it properly, not chasing a MacGuffin, not looking for a mystery box, not subverting expectations. You know, you pretty much know where this film is going to go. I guessed the ending about halfway through, and it didn't hurt my enjoyment of it at all. You know, in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, I kind of figured the ring was going to get tossed into Mount Doom. Didn't hurt my enjoyment of the film. You don't need to be shocked all the time. You just need to be told a good story. And that's what this is. It's a very small film in production and with the amount of actors and the amount of dialogue. But I think it's a little over 2 hours. I can't remember how long it was, and I didn't care. I was completely engaged. I went with a bunch of members of the Fandom Menace and Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers right after a meetup that we had here in New York. I'm obviously not in San Francisco. Hence the Tim Pool style video and the Jeremy Johns style jump cuts. If they can do it, I can do it too. And I'd also like to thank Sir Ruin of House Roundhead, a proud member of the Fandom Menace who bought me and Jeremy our tickets. Thank you very much. I went to the Alamo Draft House and saw this film, which was kind of a perfect place to see it. And that was the first time I'd ever been to one. Even though I have one in San Francisco, I've never gone because I usually don't drink booze. But the hot dog with the sauerkraut was really good. Now, back to the film. This film wasn't as violent as I thought it would be. There's certainly violence, and it's Scorsese style of violence, and this was a Scorsese style of film. It felt like a New York film, and it was definitely cool seeing it in New York, although it was Gotham. They take a lot of liberties with the Batman and Joker origin, but it's okay because this film is done with respect to the characters and respect to the audience. And I think you're just going to love it. Now, we're going to get in the spoiler section in a second, but I want to talk to you, Access Media. It's obvious what kind of axe you have to grind with this film because it's not pushing your woke narratives, and it is a case study with a white male lead. And this whole narrative of incel violence, I don't know who invented that. It sounds like an Access Media invention to me. I'm not sure if that military warning was real or not. I'm guessing it was, but that is the single most ridiculous thing ever. We got patted down before we went in the film. There were metal detectors, and that's fine. I'm all about safety. That's great, but it was hysteria. And that was hysteria created by the Access Media. And I hope to God nothing happens tonight. Now, I didn't hear anything, but at the time of recording this video, and if there is, I'm truly sorry. I hope there isn't, but it almost sounded like the Access Media wanted something to happen. And that's the biggest problem I have with them now, and they have outlived their usefulness. And that's a bad thing. We need the media. We need the media to tell the truth. And since the David Chappelle effect, we're starting to see more and more YouTubers and more actors and people in the media come out against woke culture because it's not the side of good. It is totalitarianism, and it is a way to silence free speech, which is a very bad thing, and it's very restricting of good storytelling. And this was a brave movie, you know, a movie that people wouldn't have questioned about 10 years ago, but we're questioning it now. It feels like we're regressing a little bit, doesn't it? So I'm glad this movie exists, and I want it to make a lot of money to show Hollywood that it is safe to make a normal movie. Now, Hollywood likes to copy things, so that's the good news. If this thing is successful, we'll get more films like it. The bad side of that is they'll make more comic book films like this. Now, this works with the Joker. It works in the Batman universe, but it wouldn't work with Harry Osborn. We don't need to see that film. So Hollywood, don't start making every comic book movie a hard R like the Joker. We still need to have fun and thrilling films, but this was another breath of fresh air. It is right up there with Logan, and it is right up there with the best rated R comic book movies, and we don't have a lot of them, and we certainly can use a lot more. Did you hear that, Marvel? Stay away from your woke agenda and give us a proper Punisher and Daredevil movie. And well, it's too late for the Black Widow, but Black Widow would have been a great hard R, but unfortunately we're going to get some silly PG-13 Disney Black Widow. DC, you're doing the right thing. I don't know why you hired J.J. Abrams, and I don't know if we're going to get many more films like this, and I don't know if we're going to get another. And now that J.J. Abrams is involved, I'm hoping that they just make this a one-off, unfortunately. Now we're going to get into the spoiler section. You have been warned. We are now entering spoiler territory. If you don't want to be spoiled for this film, please go watch it and then come back and watch this video. From this point, I will put the timestamp in the description. I just want to talk about the end and two particular things in the end, and they concern Batman and Thomas Wayne. Now, the last 20 minutes really make this film. It was a slow burn that builds up to the origin of the Joker at the very end of the film, and it's directly connected to Batman. But there's an unreliable narrator in this. It reminds me a lot of an episode of Buffy. There's an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where Buffy gets committed to an insane asylum, and she is just dreaming that she's slaying vampires, and they never really answer the question at the end of the episode whether it's all in her head or not. something very similar happens in this film. I won't tell you when, you'll just have to figure it out, and I have to watch it a couple more times to see if this really happened or if it's in Arthur's head. And at the end, it's very Purge-like. There's a very anti-rich sentiment, and this is where my nitpick comes in. So it's very much eat the rich, rich or bad. Thomas Wayne can be seen as a Trump type, but they don't really beat you over the head with it, and that is what good storytelling is. Hollywood, do you remember how to do that, where you don't alienate half your fan base and you make people think because it doesn't take over your story? This still remains a Joker story. Now, there's one quick scene where you see a resist sign. That did take me out of the film, and that's why it's not a 10 out of 10, because of that scene, but it's real quick and it's not a big deal. So Bruce Wayne is in the film, and we see a direct connection to the origin of Batman and the origin of the Joker, the awakening of the Joker, and it is unbelievably badass. I was elbowing Jeremy so hard when that happened. I think I left bruises on his face. And again, you have been warned, this is the spoiler section. So we do see the poor Waynes get murdered again, but it's directly connected to the Joker, but the Joker's not the one who does it. And I love the incorporation of the clown masks, and it's very much kind of a nod to Heath Ledger's Joker, but done very respectfully and done very well. And that's how it could slightly connect in some very bizarre way to the Heath Ledger Joker. And it was done just so damn well. And that's something, if you would have told me about it, I'd have hated it. But when I saw it executed, for lack of a better word, on screen, it was brilliant. And Arthur doesn't become the Joker until that instant. And when the Waynes are killed, he wakes up because he gets in a car accident and he looks pretty dead, and he comes back to life as the Joker. Then they have him locked up in a Arkham Asylum, I'm assuming at the end, and it just, you don't know. It ends with whether it could be in his head or it might not. And I'd love to hear what you guys think after the film has been, you might want to avoid the comment section on this one. There's nothing I can do about it, but I don't want to do two separate videos. So I've time-stamped, and maybe I should have warned people earlier, but oh well, that's YouTube. It's going to be very hard not to be spoiled from this film, but that was brilliant. I thought it was just so well done. So I am happy as hell. I can't wait to see this film again. Well done, DC. Well done, Warner Brothers. Oh, and by the way, the old Warner Brothers logo at the beginning of the film, perfect. So if you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like what you heard, well, thanks for listening this long. I will talk more about this on a live stream probably within the next 24 hours if you're watching this video on October 4th. This is the date I'm recording it at. Oh my God, it's like 4 in the morning right now, so I do need to get some sleep. Everybody have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.
Dirterotic.com